Hello ladies and gents, welcome to the new night point of view review. In front of us is the Forthing T5 EVO. This is the exclusive trim. Now if we unlock the car, you can see the daytime running lights turn on and the hazard lights or the turn signals. Now the main lights are off. You need to go in the car to start it in order to have them, so we're gonna see them from the inside and we're gonna get outside the city to check their performance. Now this is the exclusive trim. It's the only one available in Croatia. This car is an amazing deal with 30,000 euros price tag. I hope you watched the full in-depth review on the channel separated video. Now we're sitting on 19-inch alloys, quite comfortable. You can spec the 18-inch, and this is a front-wheel drive powered by Mitsubishi's 1.5 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine producing 177 horsepower, linked to dual clutch transmission, automatic 7-speed. Now very good performance, I would say, but we're more on that inside the car. And you can see the rear dynamic turn signals, beautiful connected LED bar. If I use the key fob, press and hold the lowest button, you can see the cargo space. There's a street light here. If I open the cover, there is a warm light here. It's 480 liters of cargo space, 1,480, so 1,000 more if you knock down the seat. There is a spare wheel underneath the styrofoam, and come on, close this up. Of course you can program the height of the fifth door, but you know that if you watch the full review. Let's get inside, and voila. So let me just buckle up. Now there will be a night review also separated to show you some of the details at night. Now this is the Forthing at night. Now you can see the beautiful ambient light. Now these change colors by itself, so you can change them in the display, and that's the only ambient light in the interior. Let's start up the car. So the main lights switch off. We do have the panel roof open, so there's a more light or more street lights inside. Now the screen takes a minute to boot, so we're greeted by music. Now I'll have to mute that not to get a copyright strike. So let me just lower that volume a little bit. So a little demo again. Now I can't play for too long not to get a copyright strike. The sound systems and the speakers are good. It's decent, but I've heard better. They're not definitely trash, so it's good there. Now I've mentioned this, and I'm going to mention it right now as well. This infotainment is a bit limiting in few areas, and this is the radio. So you can only switch to the next station, and it doesn't even tell you the name of the station. There's no station list. For some odd reason, that is really unusual. And you can only use FM or AM, which no one uses, so you can only use FM, so no digital radio. That's kind of odd. If you press the home screen, you can see these apps. Now I've tested the phone link. I can't do it while I'm recording. Actually I can in this case. Okay, sorry, let me just actually I'm not gonna show you. Well, basically what it does is it connects your phone to the car computer, and it just mirrors your screen. That's all. So if you want to use Google Maps, you need to put your phone in landscape so you can see the landscape. If it's in portrait, you can see only small screen of the portrait. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's the limit you have to accept, because this is a generously big and very good SUV for 30,000 euros, but this is kind of limiting. I wish they added Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and that it would be perfect in my opinion. That's just something you need to know if you want to get this car. You can control the brightness here. I lowered it. Hopefully you see it good. And before we start driving, this is the display. This is some sort of TFT screen. It's like a digital screen, like on your calculator. It just illuminates. It looks really beautiful in person, but the only things you can change here are the odometer. Now fuel consumption was quite low here, high. I'm going to do a reset. Actually, I'm going to reset it right now. Hold this button. It's going to reset here. Reset it. So we're going to see how we're doing on our drive. We do have driving modes here. If I press, you can see there's a sport mode, eco, or nothing. So let's head out. And before we do that, just to show you the reverse camera. Reverse camera is quite okay for the purpose and shows the angle when you turn the steering wheel. I'm gonna put it to drive. Now I've noticed something. When I start driving, the parking brake releases, but in few occasions it didn't release for some reason. I had to disengage it manually. I'm not sure what happened, but just so you know, I've experienced that. Okay, let's head out. Sorry for the long introduction, but I thought it was, you know, necessary information that you want to know. Now you can hear the petrol engine. Again, it's a Mitsubishi's petrol engine, so it's not something that's completely odd and new. It's something that you know, and it's good, reliable. And I gotta say, this engine is very good. It sounds good, and the petrol heads will love it. So it's quite responsive. You have the auto hold here now, so that's a great feature as well. So this car is packed, but a few things I noticed it's lacking is it doesn't have the front radar, which is kind of a standard these days. But also there is a camera here for the lane assist, but I've never noticed the lane assist working when I've engaged the cruise control. Now, when the car is cold, or excuse me, when the engine is cold, you can hear the petrol is quite loud. When it gets warm, it's slightly less louder, but still you can hear it. It gives you good feedback, and it's quite fun for those of you who are into that. Speed bumps. So it's quite gentle ride for 19-inch. This one's a bit hard, but let's see. It's okay. It has multi-link on the back, that's also very good. So, you know, these smaller potholes, you can feel some, but you know, it's fairly comfortable. It's a wide tire, it's a large SUV, so it's just easier with SUVs going over these speed bumps and these potholes, manholes, and so on. Now, there are settings for the steering wheel. I haven't played with those, to be honest, so we shall see here. I might just switch to that. Let's see here, vehicle. I don't like not having a shortcut to do this without touching the screen. Okay, now this is a sport steering. Oh, it's more precise for sure. Yeah, it's more direct, but I prefer comfort. That's easy for parking. Let's see normal. I actually haven't tested the normal. It was on comfort. Okay, it's a bit more direct, but still soft. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it that way, because I got used to the comfortable setting, but this is quite okay. A green arrow, I can go. Let's punch it here. Whoa, spinning the wheels a bit. So, wow. You can hear the petrol, it's just screaming, but it's good. And this 7-speed automatic is amazing. There's no lag when you start. There's no delay. It just kicks off immediately. It's amazing. And the shifts are very good. Transition is very good. And even on the highway, when it comes to, I think it was like 30, 40, just there's a small delay, but very short, and it just kicks off and it keeps pulling more towards 150. So that's the legal speed I can do here in Croatia with a 10% tolerance. But at least on camera, of course, generally, yeah, that's the speed limit I can drive as a Croatian. If you're from abroad, keep to 140, you should be safe. But this car is impressive. It's very good. Now, overview in the car is amazing. You have big mirrors. There's no blind spot options, but they're so big that you can see the blind spots basically, and if you really want to check it out, just turn. Now, there are no auto dimming, so you have to use the manual here, but I've mentioned this in my review. You can actually go to a detailer, put like a film to look slightly darker, dim those, so it shouldn't be an issue. But again, you're in an SUV, you're tall, so The only one who's gonna blind you is maybe another SUV. Yeah, okay, the brakes, not oversensitive. I would say they're okay, but I didn't need to emergency brake or something like that. We're gonna do that test a little bit later when we do 0 to 100, which is not that fast. I think it's around, I actually forgot, I'm not gonna lie now from top of my head, but it was nothing like 8 seconds. I think it was like something around 9.5. I might be mistaken. I had a different car on test the other day, so I could have mixed it up in my head. But I'm gonna put the technical details link in the video description. Although that description, I think for the different markets there is a slightly stronger petrol version and something around 250-ish horsepower. But this one that we have here in Croatia is, as I've mentioned, 177 horsepower. Now, what else? Well, the seats are comfortable and it's a very roomy SUV, very good, practical for the family, big cargo space. Again, the thing I've the thing they've mentioned in the beginning of the video is the infotainment. If you can live with this infotainment and the visual screen, I think you're going to be fine. This is a bargain, 30,000 euros. In the inflation, you know, every European brand, I'm going to say that, has raised their prices, you know, and you cannot get this size SUV. Now, regarding the interior is quite nice. Might lack few very high posh details, but it's good. The seats are leather. The bottom part of the doors are covered with leather. For some reason, they've used like a molding on the top. Now, even the dash is soft. It's not covered by leather, but it's made of foam, so it's soft. But to complete like the luxury, okay, not luxury, but really premium level would be if they've placed leather on the top with contrast stitching and on top of the doors and the top of the dash. But besides that, this car is very, very, very nice inside. Now, you know, guys, I'm 100% honest, and I always like to be that. And you know, the people who give me the cars for reviews, they know I'm not super critic. I'm not gonna talk trash about the car, but I am always honest. And this car, listen to this. I'm not sure if the camera's gonna pick it up. When I lean my elbow, there is some plastic towards the rear AC vent doing squeaky sound. I can't hide it. You heard it in the day point of view driving when I'm not talking. This is the only con that I found with the car that I dislike. Everything else is solid. It's bulletproof, I would say. So I'm not sure if this particular model. Now, sometimes this is a press car. Sometimes press people do weird things with the car. It's not like anything that's weird. It's just they need to do some photos, they need to do some videos, and then you will have a camera on the back. Someone will be driving the car, and the cameraman will lean on the armrest sometimes, and they might do too much pressure, and then something gets loosened up and it starts making sounds. So, to be fair and objective, this car maybe wouldn't have any cracking plastic sounds, but this one, for some reason, you know, it does. Also, perfect example for those of you who are regular audience. I had tested a little diversion, 3 separate cars at different brand. I'm not going to mention brands, but on those I had issues. On 2 cars, on a third one I didn't. In the salon, there's no issue. So this is something just that can happen in every car. Even in my car, I do have some rattling sounds. I go to the service, they fix it, it's gone. So, you know, it happens. Luckily, the car has 5 years warranty, 120,000 kilometers. So just go to the service, they'll replace that part, should be all good. No reason not to enjoy your car. Okay, big manhole. Okay, I felt that one, but still it was quite soft. It wasn't too harsh. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta say, so far I'm impressed with the car. Now I haven't floored it too much, and you can see that the fuel consumption, I'm just checking it right now, is 7.4. I know it's a bit small, so I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's 7.4. Now when I pick up the car, I had it 6.5, and it was raising towards 6.7, and then I, by accident, when I was filming the review, reset it. So when I was driving the day review, it was around 8 liters. Now it's kind of dropping, so we're gonna see the end of our trip, but I will go to the highway now and we'll test the sport mode for you. So I'm afraid that we'll just go back to 8. Oh man, it's such a fun car, and you can see the revolution is just keeps going as a petrol. And in the Benz, the car is stable actually, and despite being tall, it's not leaning too much. It's quite good. You really have to be super aggressive in order to get the car, you know, lean a lot. Okay, let's see here. This is a little uphill and then going downhill slightly. Nice acceleration and normal. Good beam for the LED headlights, very good brightness. Now I'm going to switch to sport mode, and I'm just going to floor it. Okay, today there was slight wind, but kind of I can see there is no wind now. So back to eco. If I speed up in eco, it still pulls. It doesn't feel like eco. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna slow down because this is just for the test. Now soundproof is actually quite decent. I'm gonna slow down to 100. Now there's a rough and then a smooth patch of asphalt, but I'm on winter tires. Decent soundproof. Let's come to 130. I can hear the petrol, it's so loud. Okay, 130, it's a big SUV. There is moderate noise. 150, there's quite some, you know, noise in the cabin. Now you do have a big mirrors, they're creating a lot of wind resistance, but I would say the most thing, if you're cruising gently, you can hear, yeah, is the wind and the tire noise. But the suspension is fairly comfortable, so it's not projecting too much sound inside or too much noise. Okay, another thing, let me just see here if I can close the shade. There's a panel roof, so that's also a reason for some noise. Okay, I can't say at 100 if it's helping or not. Now there's here an option, let me just see here. See, I don't have the lane assist here. It's standby. I can turn on the clock. And let me show you here before we get off the highway. I can turn on the speed limiter. I press set and then I press up. Come on. Okay, that's it. It's a cruise control. It's a basic cruise control. There's no one, so it doesn't keep you in the lane, which is kind of weird. I mean, there is a camera on the top. To be 100% honest, I haven't peeked inside, but there is an opening for it, so it'd be kind of weird. I have to really check that out. It would be really weird if it has an opening and no camera inside. That would be odd. But maybe it's an extra. I don't know. But okay, you do have a basic cruise control, so you can rest your foot, and you can press on the steering wheel to cancel it, or you can just press the brake. So you just tap here, the screen comes back on. But still, generally, I would say this is a very nice and comfortable SUV. So I'm just gonna mention this. My aunt is looking for a new car, and you know, she's one of those people who are old school. She's fine with this kind of car that just has the basic information, doesn't need any advanced features. You know, she's that type of a person. And for those of you who are like that, this is gonna be quite a good bargain. I know I mentioned that, but I'm mentioning it again because it really is. The only problem I see with this car and the customers who are from Europe, I'm in Europe, so I'm gonna focus on this area, is that there are some prejudices about Chinese cars. But let's be honest, most of the technology is now made by China, in China, and the Chinese are kicking ass with electric cars, so why not do it with the petrol cars? And so some people don't stick to the speed limits, so they get a ticket. So you know, they're kicking ass with the electric cars. They're kicking also ass with the petrol cars, apparently, because this car is a bargain. And again, you're not buying something, you're buying the chassis. It's made in China, but the engine inside is a Japanese. It's a Mitsubishi's engine, and it's something that's proven reliable, so you're not gambling. You know, it's not a pure gamble if this is something for you that's new. And which is something that's surprising, is that my neighbor got this exact same car, exact same spec, exact same color. The wheel is the same, everything's the same. And I just didn't have time to, you know, ask him how satisfied is he. But I'm pretty sure he would say that he is satisfied after testing this car. It's quite a enjoyable ride. And practical, comfortable, if you're okay with the basic infotainment. Okay, I've said enough. Yeah, just the car, the engine is really good for this size of the SUV. It just feels good. Speeds up nicely. The steering's nice and precise. You're tall, you can see the road good. The overview around the car is great. You know, I don't think the the A pillars are too much of an issue. Maybe this area around the mirror for some traffic lights, but not a huge deal breaker. Okay, there's no one behind me. No one in front of me. I'm gonna do an acceleration test. Let me see, brake. I'm gonna floor the throttle. And stops at 2,000 RPM. Release. Wow, it's screaming. So that's the brakes. Okay, it engages the emergency hazards and turns them off. The brakes are good. So, okay. Not too fast. A regular audience knows this. I have a Tesla, so way faster, but still okay. I would say okay for an SUV. Okay, let's turn here. Now we're gonna see the performance of the LED headlights. I don't think I have automatic long beam, but I can engage it manually. Very nice. It goes far enough. Okay, I'm gonna take out my iPhone camera, so it has a bigger sensor. It takes in more light, so you can see quite better how it looks in person rather than the GoPro. So this is the main beam and the long beam. Quite good performance. Okay, since there's no navigation, nothing to show you now, there is here a little thing if I turn on the light. So you can put a phone mount here so it's not blocking your display. Yeah, you can control the AC here so you can see the display. And yeah. So it'd be cool if this car had maybe heated steering wheel and heated seats. Maybe it's an option that's not in this particular model that I have on test. Now there was another thing that I wanted to mention, but it kind of slipped my mind. I might remember it. It's just, I can just repeat myself. Petrol heads will love this car. Oh yeah, I remembered. No wireless charging. I mean, most of the cars have this now, but I would really prefer wireless charger. So this is what I'm saying. It's an old school. You do have a USB-A and it charges your phone, but you need to use the cable. And you know, it's just like small things that this car doesn't have, at least this specific spec that I've got. Maybe it's an option, but what I was told, and I didn't look at the equipment, but I was told like, yeah, this is the basic spec, so this is what you get standard. So it's quite good, but then there might be some options, because I think the test car they've got was one of the early cars they got, and then they just order, you know, the basic models, and then when the production starts later, they get to order cars that have options. So if there are options, definitely this car doesn't have it because of that reason. But generally, it's time to, you know, sum up the impressions, and the verdict is that this is quite a bargain. It's a good deal. It's a good SUV. It's very spacious. It's very comfortable. Good performance. The petrol engine is amazing with this dual clutch 7-speed automatic. It's generally a very nice SUV. Now, I like it. Is it for me personally? I like gadgets. I like Apple CarPlay. I think with Apple CarPlay, this car, even without the wireless charger, would be perfect. It'd be okay, you know? That's maybe one thing. I could be okay with this display personally, but with Apple CarPlay, you know, I wouldn't mind. This car would be very good. It's just there. It's almost on the doorstep, I would say. For all of you who I know are going to complain in the comment section below, why is there no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto? But it's something that Forthing or Dongfeng Motors can add in the future models, hopefully. So my critics are always in that direction, what to improve. The competition has better, so we're not talking bad about the car, we're just saying things that could be improved. So cutting this in, great feature for the seats, I've completely forgot. Great massage function for the driver, and I've been driving around half an hour for 43.3 kilometers. Just a little fuel consumption, it dropped to 5.0, so 5 liters. I think I could drop it even more. This is gentle driving, you know, anticipating when to let go and slow down. Driving 60, 70, 80. My average was 78 kilometers per hour. So if you are not with a heavy foot on the throttle, this car can be very economical as well. Now, more realistically, your fuel consumption will be around 6 liters or 7, tops 8, as you saw. So it's pretty decent for this size of SUV. Also, like doing a U-turn is quite okay. Yeah, this beam is really nice and bright. Too bad we don't have the LED fog lights, but again, might be an option. Actually, I'm gonna leave the window down. I might hear the petrol a bit. Let me just go to sport once again. Yeah, let me see if I can find a parking spot. So yeah, the petrol is quite... I can't pass through here. Today I came a little bit earlier than usual, but I think this is fine here. So I was kind of hoping for a LED light above. Let me just park here, where you can see the car a little bit better when I get outside. So let me just put it to park. And just a little throttle test. Yeah, when you rev it in neutral, it just doesn't feel that loud. But when you rev it in a gear, it's loud. That's it. Switch it off, and you know, that was the review. Kind of impressed. There's a lot of good things about this car. It just, I would say for the first Chinese brand, I'm surprised, and some of my prejudices, personal, are also broken and dissipated. If you like this review, do subscribe to the channel, click the bell to get notified. I do a lot of car reviews, same route, so you can compare all the cars. It's just different seasons. And yeah, let me just show the car from the outside a little bit, at least this light here. So yeah, looking quite good. And just a little walk around to the back end. Just the back end is really looking nice, and you can see those dynamic turn signals. It's amazing. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe. Bye.